We hail from the state of South Dakota, which you can see on the map there. We have 4 very distinct seasons. One of them is very long. We call it winter. Every once in a while, the snow finally melts off and spring shows up for a couple weeks, and we usually head straight into summer. We've got plenty of people out there telling our story for us these days. How many of you heard of pink slime in the last month or so? Yeah? Yeah, that was a term nobody had really necessarily heard of till then. That guy on the left, his outfit's called Center for Science in the Public Interest. Sounds very official, doesn't it? His was the company their organization that went out there and pushed that whole thing and made it happen. We had a perfectly safe beef product that'd been on the market for decades that they came after and attacked, and now because of this smear campaign that they went after it, there's over 800 people that have lost their jobs, and they've put several plants they've shut down. Then we got groups like the Humane Society of the United States, the world's wealthiest animal rights organization. People think that there's some sort of umbrella organization that represents all of those little local dog and cat shelters. In fact, it's not. They spend less than 0.5% of their budget, which is over $130 million a year, actually helping unwanted pets. The rest of it goes to trying to put me and my family out of business and eliminating animal agriculture. So we've got groups like this out there telling our story for us because we weren't out there doing it. There was a void. And finally, Stacy and I started saying, you know what? We've got to get out there and start telling our story on our own. We've got to be the ones that go out there and share this information. And so one of the ways that we first started doing that was through a blog. Since we do live in rural South Dakota, but you don't live around a lot of people. And so you sit there and you're in the middle of the rural area and you're like, well, how do I get my story out and reach these folks?
But we saw that there's a lot of valuable information that can be put on Facebook, and we have over 17,000 followers on Facebook right now. What's great about Facebook, for some of you guys that are kind of thinking you're not so sure about it, is that by being a friend, liking our Advocates for Agriculture page, you can share our content. You don't have to come up with your own original content. You can just keep up with what we're saying and what other people that are being influential are saying and share that with your friends. Yeah, it's that easy, you guys. I bet some of you in this room have updated your Facebook status since we've been sitting here, haven't you? Yeah? It's quick, it's easy, and it's accessible, like Troy said, to so many people around the world of telling your story.
And then pretty soon here comes this Twitter thing, right? Well, what the heck is Twitter? I don't know. It's got all these crazy abbreviations and goofy symbols and looks like a bunch of mumbled up jumbo, right? But I decided I better get on there and check it out. And it didn't take me very long to determine that there were an incredible number of conversations taking place on Twitter about agriculture and food production and farmers and ranchers. And as the old saying goes, if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu, right? We better be a part of those conversations. And so I got on there and started being a part of those conversations. And a lot of other farmers and ranchers did too. And we're out there and making ourselves available to people to ask directly to farmers and ranchers their questions about agriculture. It's been a fantastic way for us to reach people. What's really cool now is because we've been over here a few times, when I'm home calving in the spring and I'm doing night checks, and I'm trying to stay awake so because I got to go out and check cows again in an hour or so, make sure nothing's freezing to death out there. I can get on Twitter, all you guys are awake. So I'm talking to all my friends in Australia now. It keeps me up at night. It's fantastic. So we've got like 4,000 people follow us on Twitter, and that's been just another tool that we can use to make those connections with other people in agriculture and consumers across the world. It was interesting because we did the ABC landline story last time we were here in Eidsvold, and Pip Courtney helped us set up this Twitter chat after it aired on TV, and we'd been home for about a month afterwards. And it was fun to see what would happen. And so they had the show on TV, and then we were at home. It was Saturday night at home, and we got on the computer and started chatting with people. And the thing was huge. The people that saw it on TV got onto Twitter and started asking us all kinds of questions, and we had all these conversations. About an hour and a half into it, I looked to see what the trending topics were in Australia, and I took a screenshot of it. My name was the #1 trending topic on Twitter in Australia at that time. The #2 was advocacy. That's kind of cool, huh? Look what happens when a bunch of us get together and start sharing the story of agriculture. And when somebody in Sydney is goofing around on Twitter and they're like, what are these trending? Who the heck is Troy Hadrick? Why is that trending? There might be an off chance they're going to follow me and start learning about agriculture. And you start making those connections.